It was the year 1986 that a young, ambitious Hideo Kojima would join the video game production company Konami, forever changing the industry and so many lives thereon after. Hideo Kojima joined Konami as a young designer and was initially tasked to work on a game titled Lost World, but that was eventually soon cancelled. So where did that land him? Working on another title that Konami thought was doomed to fail, Metal Gear. What was originally planned to be a generic action shooter, Kojima reworked it and implemented his stealth gameplay that is so iconic to this day. And with that, Kojima had found his place. With his newfound signature sauce, Hideo was ready to take this series to a whole other level. Metal Gear Solid, the game that broke so many boundaries and pushed the limits on creativity and hardware alike. It was the first game I played where it actually felt like it could have been a movie, albeit a very cheesy movie at times, but very entertaining. The jump from 2D to 3D really brings the stealth mechanics to life also. Crawling around, taking out guards, all in a three-dimensional environment, and that was groundbreaking back in the day, people. But this video, it's not about Metal Gear, or Solid, or Snake Eater, or any of those. This one's special. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain came out 10 years ago, if you can believe that, on September 1st, 2015, marking the end of a truly legendary franchise. This game would be a little different though, as this game takes an open world approach, which we will discuss, as well as the main protagonist of the game, Venom Snake, being voiced by a new actor. There's a lot different here and a lot to digest, and it's going to be kind of confusing, but if there's one thing I know for certain, it's that I cannot put this game down. Story. In Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, you play as Venom Snake, who wakes up after a 9-year coma. The game is set in the 1980s and follows his journey to rebuild his private military company, Mother Base, while seeking revenge on those who destroyed his previous one. The story is full of espionage, intrigue, and a whole bunch of weird stuff that you'll only find in a Kojima game. And there's a lot to it. So I won't be deep diving into all the stories, so no need to worry about spoilers if you haven't played the game for yourself. It's a game that, depending on your playstyle, can take you hours to finish. For me and my playthrough, personally, I tried my best to scout every outpost before going in, marking each enemy, sneaking around, getting info out of guys, just taking them out, but also sending some with good stats back to Mother Base, you know, the whole 9 yards. And speaking of Mother Base, okay, it took me a while, I'll admit, to get used to how things at Mother Base worked. Once you get the hang of it and you start getting enough guys at base, it actually starts to feel like your base is real, with actual soldiers walking around. It is really cool seeing your base slowly expand as you develop new units and just play the game. It was always such a nice feeling, too, coming back to Mother Base after a long, exhausting mission and having Dee Dee there to greet you. That always made up for it. So I love the small interactions you can have with some characters. It's kind of like a fun, like, ooh, what's gonna happen next type interaction whenever you go back to Mother Base after a mission. This game is really cutting edge too, for the time, and even to some today's standards, honestly. And I want to call this an undisputed masterpiece, but there's obviously some things that stop me. But the big positives mainly that I think the phantompain does right, the obvious one, gameplay. This is the most addicted to a Metal Gear Solid game I think I've ever been, and it's the controls. The way you move around, like, it seriously feels so good. It's one of those games for me now where when I'm not playing it, I'm just constantly thinking about playing it, and that's usually not the case for me, especially for a stealth game, which is like totally not like what I'm interested in mainly. So major points there. Sneaking around and taking out foes has literally never felt so good. Graphics and overall design. I had read that at the time, Hideo Kojima paid a high price for the Fox engine, and that allegedly Konami was not the happiest with the decision. But my opinion? Let Kojima cook, are you kidding me? Spend $1 million more just to wipe my ass with it for all I care. This game is gorgeous. The details and the atmosphere constantly have me in shock. And I have to continuously remind myself that, yo, this game is 10 years old. A game that dropped a decade ago that holds up with games coming out today? I'd say Kojima buying that Fox engine was the right call. Like, this game is pretty. And when the game wants to be badass, moody action thriller, yeah, it's stellar too. It's the last hurrah of a tired man who gave his heart to the series. And it's a triumphant finale for an icon, but not without its faults. Story. If you know anything about Metal Gear Solid or the history of Hideo Kojima, then it should be no secret that the making of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantompain, was an all but delightful experience. Tensions first arose in March 2015 when Konami erased Hideo Kojima's name from all marketing material for the game, which would have pissed me off so badly. Imagine working on something and putting your all into it just to not get credit. Yeah, I don't think so. Then, in October of 2015, the Kojima's production staff had apparently held a farewell party after finishing his work on the Phantompain, and multiple sources stated that this was Kojima's last day at Konami. Constant arguing over budgets, Kojima's creative freedom and delays, all of this tension led to a half-baked masterpiece. When it really given the time to cook, we could have gotten something truly spectacular. This half-ster-piece we got, still so great for what it came out to be under the circumstances, but it just keeps me up at night wondering what this game could have been, what its potential really was. Like, it had so much untapped potential that I feel like it's just magic only Kojima can bring to life. So under the unfortunate circumstances of Konami beefing with Kojima Productions during the development of MGS5, it ends up being half-baked, with the first half of the game being like a literal 10 out of 10, and then towards the end it kind of, completely drops off and doesn't quite know how to wrap itself up neatly. But this is not a bad game by any means. This is just one of those rare cases when a good game should have been great, but the stars just didn't align. And before we wrap it up, we need to talk about the controversial change of the lead voice actor for this game. If you are a fan of the series, then you already know the iconic voice of Snake. It's usually done by the legendary David Hayter. But for MGS5, Hideo Kojima was aiming for something different. He stated in an interview that this Snake was more older and grizzled, and he wanted to portray that, get something who fit the part a little bit more, and he wanted to get someone famous. Kojima then turned to his Hollywood connections, and after one thing led to another, we got Kiefer Sutherland. And my thoughts? Honestly, I don't think I mind. In fact, as the game went on and I got more used to it, I actually really liked Kiefer Sutherland as Snake.
Fool this man!
It didn't sound like he was straining his voice trying to come off as cool, but just his normal speaking tone comes off as badass, and I love that. I can see players hating this decision, though, you know, being fans, longtime fans of David Hayter, or maybe, you know, when you hear Snake speak now, you just hear Kiefer's other characters from his movies or show whenever, you know. So maybe you just can't fully immerse yourself, which I get. But for me personally, I mean, I haven't really seen Kiefer's work other than Lost Boys. And I know he was in like that show 24, and that was like a hit. But I was probably 10 or something when that came out, so kind of benefited. It kind of worked in my favor that hearing Kiefer Sutherland as Snake didn't bother me. I had nothing to really compare it to, so I really got to immerse myself and hear his voice as Snake. The game lets you take out foes in creative, unique ways, even during boss battles. Like in the quiet boss fight, I was trying to figure out how to stun her and get close, so I had this funny idea that, well, what would happen if I, like, sent a supply drop down on her? Would that do anything? And it's pretty hilarious that you can do shit like that. I love the freedom and the creativeness and just the goofiness of it all. But with the goofiness, it also has some of the most badass moments that caught me off guard, that were just, like, so insanely hype when they happened. Like here, I'll just show you. This is one of my favorite cutscenes from sort of the beginning of the game. Take a look.
Another one! Shit! It's an LGM! Hold on!
I had such a good time playing this game. Having only played the first three, this was so new and different. With the open world to explore and tons of missions and side ops to complete, there's hours of content here to go and run around and just be the boss. If I had to give this a rating out of 10, I would legit give it a straight 9. I had that much fun with the gameplay. It just felt so good to stealth around, and that's coming from a guy who hates stealth games. But that's why MGS just hits different for me. It's Kojima, he's the man. I had a blast with this game. I know that there are a whole lot more in this game to cover, but that would take like 47 hours, so I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to get on here and speak my thoughts on this gem 10 years later. And if you're wondering, yeah, it definitely holds up, and it's even better than some of the games coming out today. So if you haven't played it, go play it. Even if it's out of order, don't care, go play it, it's great. And if you're a longtime veteran and MGS lover, hopefully this makes you want to go back and play it. Because even, you know, reading off this script, I want to go play it right now. It's great. So yeah, I love this game a lot. It is the perfect mix of espionage thriller badass and just pure comedy. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more vids like this, feel free to hit subscribe down there. Yeah, the blinking icon. Yeah, that one. It's pretty cool, actually. Subscribe. See, it's like lighting up down there. I think it is, right? Is it like doing like that? Okay, never mind. Like the video, subscribe if you guys want more MGS, like and sub. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.